Maybe you've realized 2025 will be here in less than 3 months, and you are finally ready to start your fitness journey. But this time it's serious. No more starting and giving up when things get tough. You are finally ready to be fully committed. This video will be your fitness guide on how you can start your fitness journey and finally become the happy and healthy version of yourself that you've always imagined. Now, my personal fitness journey started about 7 years ago, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit how many of those years I struggled to see real progress or struggled to stay consistent with any of my workouts or my dieting for more than like a week at a time. And that's actually the exact reason I wanted to make this video, because there's so much I wish I knew when I started that would have gotten me the results I wanted so much faster. But not only that, would have saved me from so many mistakes that I feel are so common when you're first starting out. So yes, this is a journey and mistakes will be made, but I love the saying, it's good to learn from your own mistakes, but even better to learn from others. Okay, without wasting any more time, we're gonna jump into the first tip. And this is one of the most important things to consider when you're starting your journey, and that is to find your why. Now, I really need you to be as specific with this as possible. So for example, saying I just want to lose weight is not specific enough. I really want you to ask yourself, why are you wanting this change? Is it because you're tired of not feeling your best? Or did you just go through a very bad breakup and you want to gain some confidence back? That was actually my reason. I know to some that might sound a little bit ridiculous, but it was everything that I needed to kickstart my fitness journey. So what I'm saying is it's totally okay to want a smaller waist and bigger glutes, but if that is your main and only motivator, I promise you it is not going to be the thing that's going to get you up out of your bed day in and day out to reach that goal. It's going to have to be deeper than that. I feel like a lot of people don't know that there's actually two different types of motivation. Now, the motivation that you hear a lot of people talk about, it's called extrinsic motivation. And this is almost always motivated by external factors. So seeking the approval of others, whether you reach that physical goal, like getting into a size small. The problem with this motivation is number one, it's not reliable. Number two, we just don't know when or if we are going to accomplish these things. It's very fleeting. Again, it's not reliable or sustainable. Now, what I'm asking you to do and why I'm asking you to find your why is I'm trying to get you to build up intrinsic motivation. Now, this motivation, again, is something that you have a deep emotional connection to. So going back to my personal story, I was heartbroken. That was a very deep emotional connection that I had and a very deep intrinsic motivation that I gained by wanting to build confidence back in myself. So the reward wasn't whether or not I was going to change the way I look completely, but each and every time that I went to the gym, it felt like a reward. One of the main things is consistency, and you will always hear people say that. Can't rely on motivation, you need to be consistent. But a lot of us don't understand that we have to have a big enough why to stay consistent with anything. If there's not a big enough why, I can almost guarantee you the change is not going to happen. So finding your why will always be my number one tip to anybody wanting to start their fitness journey. It's so important that you understand and you figure out that big reason why, because then you will have all the motivation and the reason to get up and to go after it. Okay, the next essential step, and I think this is very obvious, but for some reason for me, I guess it wasn't. This is actually one of the mistakes that I made for the longest amount of time, and that is to have a workout plan or program. I get it, everything is very exciting. If you are new to the gym and you are just starting to do all these movements, you need to understand that it's gonna take time to perfect your form. It's gonna take time to feel comfortable with these movements. And if you do like I did and you do all these different exercises every single time you step foot in the gym, you're number one, not going to see as much progress as you could. I've seen the most progress in my journey when I've actually stuck to a workout program for at least 4 to 6 weeks. Number two, you're going to get a lot more confident and comfortable with the movements. I feel like there's a million reasons why having a workout program is so beneficial. I think we all know how intimidating the gym can be when you're a beginner. But let me tell you, going into the gym with an action plan, with an actual workout written down, takes away so much of that gym anxiety and stress of trying to figure it out as you go. And it also saves you so much time. Like, I cannot tell you guys how much time I used to spend in the gym and it wasn't working out. It was just roaming around. Where am I going to go to not interrupt other people? Just really wasting so much time. And I love this quote. I believe I've said it here on my channel plenty of times. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Do yourself a favor and you can just write down workouts. There is so much information online. Don't have any excuse. Whatever you want to follow, I just say to have it prepared before you step into the gym. Try to stick with those certain workouts for at least 4 to 6 weeks. You will see so much more progress and you will just feel a lot more confident going into the gym every single time. Okay, moving on, my next tip, which is a very important one, and again, one that I wish I did a whole lot sooner, is to track your progress. Now, this can be in the form of taking photos, taking your measurements, tracking your weights, tracking your workout. So why do I feel tracking is so important? Well, first of all, most of us are our own biggest critics. critics. Like I can name all my flaws faster than anybody else. And whenever you're starting something new, you're going to want to see some type of progress, right? The problem with this is when you look in the mirror, you might not be able to see all of the changes that your body's making. A lot of the times you will see the progress in a lot of other ways before you visibly see the progress. Now, this is so important because when you're able to see that progress in other areas, it allows you to continue on and to not try to switch things up or even to be discouraged and stop altogether. Now, I'm really excited to actually mention the sponsor of today's video, which is Humi Health. I have been using their body analyzer for a little over a month now, and I absolutely love it. And I definitely recommend it to anybody who wants to get really serious about your fitness journey. Now, I know there are tons of people that would definitely advise against weighing yourself when on your fitness journey because with a traditional scale, it only gives you a number, and that number can be very misleading, especially if you're going through a body recomposition, for example, where your body will be gaining muscle and losing fat. The scale is not going to show you that, at least a traditional scale won't. Where the body analyzer is very different is it actually gives you so much more insight, and it's the world's first portable body analyzer. It uses 8 frequency sensors to deliver precise body weight, full body composition, and heart health. So what this means is you'll be able to see things like your muscle mass percentage or your body fat percentage. And I love this and find it so useful. They actually have a free app where you can see all of your results there. You can also enter in any goals that you have if you have step goals, so you can have all that data as well in there. As you guys know, I myself am on a mini cut right now and I'm trying to lose body fat but maintain my muscles. Having this is such a great tool. It keeps me informed and on track. And I highly recommend the body analyzer if you are wanting to get really serious about your goals and not leave anything on the table. Of course, I will have the link in the description below, and you can also use my code. That'll save you 15% off your order. And a huge thank you to Humi Health for sponsoring today's video. Okay, the next tip is simple but very important, and this is to go small, or in other words, go slow. Now, this is another one that I've had to drill into my head because I was definitely a believer of the whole go big or go home. You can change anything you want overnight, and I just really would always approach anything new that way. I would try to change everything in one instance. It is so important to understand that the bad habits that we have most likely took months or even years to build. So to think that we're going to be able to form all of these new habits in 1 or 2 days or 1 week is not sustainable or realistic. And one of the worst things we can do when starting our fitness journey is to set the expectation way too high for ourselves. So an example of this is, say right now in your current lifestyle, you don't work out at all, you eat out maybe 4 or 5 times a week. It is absolutely unrealistic to say that you are going to completely cut all processed food out of your diet. You're just going to eat clean and you're going to start hitting the gym 5 times a week. I personally think that is the quickest way to burn yourself out, to become discouraged, and to just never want to go back to the gym again after the first week, because it's very easy to maintain that for 1 week. What will most likely happen is after that week of motivation has left, you will fall right back into those old habits. And then that's where we get this yo-yo dieting or going to the gym 1 week, being consistent and falling off because we're trying to take ourselves from A to Z way too fast. It's so much better to start slow. You will be able to maintain each of those small habits that you've introduced. And trust me, I'm not just saying these things to say these things. This is something that I've had to learn the hard way time and time again. I constantly would think that I could just change everything about my life in a couple days. And every single time I would exhaust myself to no end and end up so disappointed in myself. And it's such a common thing that we do. There are certain instances or circumstances where an extreme or immediate change is needed, but I'm not talking about those circumstances. I'm talking about you just wanting to get in the gym, wanting to build a healthier lifestyle, wanting to become that version of yourself that we talked about, healthier, stronger, more confident. You need to know it's going to take time. It's okay to go slow. Trust me, if I can learn how to be patient and I can learn how to take small steps in my fitness journey, I promise you, you can, because like I said, it's literally a part of my nature to do things to the extreme. We're going to start slow. We're going to keep it maintainable. We're going to reach those goals eventually, but we're going to enjoy the process along the way. Alrighty, we're already on to our last tip. I really wanted to keep this as short as possible because I wanted to narrow down the tips that I feel are the most important. The last tip is one that I have not heard many people mention, and this one is to find the right right inspiration. Or I guess I could also say, be careful who you follow on social media for fitness inspiration. The reason I bring this up is because it really wasn't until recently that I started to take a look at how much genetics affect everything we do in life, but really with fitness. And it's definitely okay to be inspired by other fitness creators, or if you see somebody and you think they have an amazing physique, wanting to achieve something like that. I think we all do that. And I think it'd be pretty naive of me to say, don't do that. I'm 5'2". I have a shorter torso for my body frame and longer legs. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't follow anybody who doesn't fit that criteria, or you shouldn't follow people that don't look like you. Of course not. I'm just saying that I recognize maybe a lot of the fitness influencers that I was following had these physiques because of genetics, and not that they didn't have hard work, but more so that it would be completely impossible for me to ever look like that. And I just felt like if I was going to be following that, then I should find some body types that were similar to mine so that I can have more of a realistic inspiration. Keeping in mind, we're all unique individuals. You will never look exactly like the next person or whoever you follow. But I think it's naive of us to think that who we follow doesn't have a big impact on our fitness journey and how we view our fitness journey. Us as humans, we like to see something that we can achieve. So following your favorite fitness influencer is definitely going to motivate you to do maybe certain things that they're doing. It's just important to have a realistic expectation of what that's going to look like for you. You can follow your favorite fitness influencers, diet and workout to a T, and you're still not going to look exactly like them. So again, the big point with this tip is I just really want you to assess who you're following, maybe also understand your own genetics, understanding how we're all different and how much genetics play a role. I think it will help you so much because it definitely has helped me. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you feel a little bit more confident on how to approach your fitness journey if you're wanting to look the best and feel the best in 2025. I know for me, I'm always having to revisit the same tips that I just gave you. I wanted to make sure that I'm sharing from experience and from what has worked for me and what hasn't worked for me. If you like videos like this and you want to see more sit down talk videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up so more people can find it. And also subscribe if you're new to the channel. I would love to have you here. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next video.